Newcastle police say the lead-up to the robbery began yesterday. A man believed to be the same one responsible for today's heist telephoned staff at Lane Hardware in Hamilton. He said he was an inspector with the taxation department and would be coming to check tax instalment records this morning. When he did turn up, he was taken to the pay office where employees were preparing to distribute the week's wages. When the paymaster turned away, police say the bandit pushed a blunt object in his back and ordered employees to hand over the substantial payroll. The bandit had escaped in a late model sedan.
Well, at the moment we're looking for a late model cream-coloured Falcon sedan which was seen shortly after the offence to leave the premises or the vicinity of the premises. It was bearing a set of registration plates which we've learned were stolen from Walcombe Hills in Sydney on the 3rd of June.
The man police are looking for is described as in his mid-20s, about 175 centimetres tall, medium build with medium to olive acne-scarred complexion. He was wearing a blue jacket, brown trousers, heavy dark-rimmed glasses, a beanie without a pom-pom, and he had a plaster bandage on the left side of his face. Police say two descriptions given by witnesses show similarities in the eyes and chin of the bandit, and police hope these features may give them a strong lead to his identity.
The Cape-Pillar was built in Newcastle at the State Dockyard in 1964. Since then, it's been active as a lighthouse service vessel, keeping navigational aids operational throughout the South Pacific. In the past weeks, it's been repainted in the floating dock and has had a sophisticated new sonar fitted into the hull. The ship will be home for 31 crew and 7 Navy hydrographic experts who will spend 4 months charting the waters around the Solomon Islands. Mr. Morris inspected the ship today as the work neared completion. Much of that work is being carried out on board. The Cape-Pillar is fitted with its own operational workshop, complete with lathes, drills and a full complement of tools. She's powered by a 5-cylinder diesel which pushes her through the water at around 24 kilometres an hour. The plan is to seize the Cape-Pillar as having strategic importance to our region.
Well, it plays a vital role in keeping our sea lanes safe, properly marked by light aids, and in servicing the lighthouses around our coastline and the remote locations, but it also helps to provide those kind of services and advice to nations in the Southwest Pacific.
I suppose it's no mistake that the refit work was done in Newcastle.
It was done where they could get the best price and the best job done. I'm very, very pleased that this vessel, having been built here some 23 years ago, is back here for a $300,000 refit. It's good business for Newcastle, and it shows that we can do the job, put our minds to it, and we're given the opportunity.
The Cape-Pillar will undergo sea trials off the Newcastle coast this weekend to test its new sonar equipment before being recommissioned later this month.
Fog shrouded the anti-sub destroyer as it made its way through the heads. Those who had braved the early morning chill caught a ghostly glimpse of the American warship under sail. Its departure marked the end of a Goodwill visit to the port of Newcastle, time spent by the ship's crew of more than 300 sailors re-equipping the vessel following joint exercises with the Royal Australian Navy. The destroyer's arrival last Friday attracted a small group of protesters who claimed the nuclear-capable vessel posed a threat to people's safety. But throughout the week, hundreds of well-wishers took time out to inspect the Elliot, named after an American Vietnam veteran. From Newcastle, the warship sailed to Sydney.
Unsworth seems determined to show Newcastle how to fight back, after the recent loss of the Submarine project. Economic development firmly in his mind, he coolly handed over a cheque for $165,750 to the Hunter Employment and Industrial Development Scheme. But the money is not to be frittered away. It's for the serious purpose of helping Newcastle withstand difficult times and diversify its economy. The cheque was received jointly by Peter Barrett, Secretary of the Trades Hall Council, and Roger Aggs of VHP. The money will enable marketing and investment personnel to apply, so that new marketplaces and opportunities can be sought based on existing skills. Mr Unsworth says he's confident that Newcastle can pick up a lot of the spin-off work from the Submarine contract. The chances of this occurring were significantly boosted last week with the announcement of the New South Wales-backed consortium, which includes engineering giant Transfield and Australian National Industries.
We believe that we'll be able to secure a fair amount of work in the contracts that will go to the overall manufacture of the submarines, just as we believe there is scope with further additional developments on the northwest shelf. Again, heavy engineering activity, so that they're the sort of things that we're looking for from this program.
Mr Unsworth continued his whistle-stop tour by inspecting the Newcastle Conservatorium building project. The $4.5 billion construction is due for completion in April next year and will provide the city with a 500-seat music concert hall and recording studio. The Premier was impressed with the work of the local builder and the local architect on the project. A short distance away in the Hunter Street Mall, the Premier was called on to officially open the State Building Society's 100th branch. The Society injects $250 million a year into the New South Wales home market and hopes to see a role in promoting the housing industry here. But like any politician, the Premier couldn't resist some electioneering, with a reference to the Tangara rail project.
But if there's a change of government in Canberra, the Tangara project will be a threat, because we just wouldn't have the funds to maintain its momentum. And we'd have to look at extending the delivery program, and that would be disastrous. It would cost more to us in the long run, but in the short term the cost would be in terms of jobs.
At the moment, the Premier is attending a special civic reception hosted by Lord Mayor John McNaughton. He's expected to hand over a cheque for $90,000 to the Hunter Region Agency Enterprise Group. Later tonight, he will address the Newcastle branch of the Industrial Relations Society and is bound to attack the New Right and their attitude to unionism in this country.
Vale coal mine is currently owned by BHP, but there have been long-running negotiations for its sale to Newcastle Wallsend, a fully owned subsidiary of Pico Wallsend. The sale is expected to be finalised by the weekend. The 236 employees have been given until Friday to sign letters of acceptance of employment. Newcastle Wallsend has been running advertisements in the local papers saying that it's working hard to put Australia in the black, that to do so it must find better ways of doing things. It's also published copies of the letters that the miners have received. The letters say that the workers will be offered employment at their current rate of pay, but the company plans to introduce new operating procedures, so classifications and pay rates will have to be reviewed within 4 weeks of the company taking over. And it's particularly this part of the letter which has incensed the Miners' Federation. According to the union's national president, John Maitland, Newcastle Wallsend wants the employees to accept the new conditions without knowing what they are. He claims Pico Wallsend has a history of union bashing and is trying to beat up a fight to help the far right's prospects in the run-up to the federal election. However, these claims are hotly disputed by Newcastle Wallsend General Manager Argo Carew, who says changes in work practices are essential, otherwise the mine will go broke. He strongly denies that the company is spoiling for a fight in the run-up to the election.
Newcastle Wallsend Coal Company is one arm of Pico, and my responsibility is to make sure that our mines remain efficient.
So it has nothing to do with an election?
Oh, when we made the offers and when we planned the purchase, we didn't have the faintest idea of the election being on the way. I'll have to say here that our offers are exactly along the line that we outlined to the unions on the 10th of February. The election, I'm sure, wasn't even envisaged at that time.
The government plans to make two major changes to welfare payments. At present, sole parents are eligible for benefits if they're caring for a child under the age of 16 or a student child under the age of 25. From September, the maximum age for a qualifying child will be reduced to 15. And from July, women will not be able to apply for a widow B-class pension, now available for women 50 years and over with no children. The government plans to phase it out over the next 15 years. However, all existing beneficiaries will continue to receive that pension. According to the Australian government, 80% of sole parents are on welfare payments. And in the Western world, that puts this country on top of the Social Security handout list. Because most of the sole parents are women, the government hopes the changes and new initiatives they plan to introduce will encourage most of them back into the workforce. Initiatives to be introduced include subsidised childcare places for sole parents with young children who undertake formal training programs, provision of new places in adult training programs, and the liberalisation of the income test to encourage part-time work before social security payments are affected. According to the officer in charge, Noel Atkins, at Cardiff Social Security Branch, sole parents who will become ineligible for their previous benefits can still seek assistance, but even that will be limited.
Well, there are other benefits available, the usual benefits that are available at the present time, like there's unemployment benefit available for people who are unemployed, and if the sole parent was eligible as a widow and was 45 years of age or more, they can transfer over to the widow's B pension.
But some sole parents will miss out completely on any benefit at all.
Yes, that is true.
I'm Jim Sullivan. The National Safety Council has slammed police radar traps, claiming they're revenue raisers that undermine other road safety efforts. The details of that story in our news tonight.
For all the news,
join us tonight
at 6.
Clifford gets this game underway. Owen Wells immediately attempts the first basket. And what a start for the Falcons.
Regarded as one of the most talented players in Australia.
2-0 the score.
This afternoon he met the team and took his first practice, and he made it clear just what his approach will be.
I think the areas of concern for me are commitment and teamwork and just all out the work ethic. I think since I've played here, I know what the people here like. And they like, number one, they like to see you working hard. They like to see you fighting for 48 minutes, and they like to see you enjoying yourself. And I think those are the three ingredients that are possible.
For former coach Steve Johansson, the decision to drop
Newcastle
him as head coach has come as a blow.
63. The Falcons
With a year and a half left in his contract, Steve is now considering the future.
Earlier.
In the meantime, he'll stay on as secretary-manager of the Newcastle Basketball Association.
And I just say to the young kids in the team and guys like Johnson and McDaniel that they just keep working hard and think about their future very seriously.
And for former player coach with the Falcons, Bob Turner, in Newcastle for tomorrow night's test match between the Wang Boomers and the visiting American side, the Big East, the troubles facing the Falcons can be overcome.
But in any program, you're going to have ups and downs, and there's some clubs in the National League that have never been up. There's some that, have never been down. And I think the Falcons just going through one of those times at the moment, have to redirect, replan, and then get back on the right track.
Lynchton would have won it, I wouldn't think.
Whether this latest unrest in the Falcons
You have
camp
to be
has
an
turned
athlete
away
like Wayne
supporters
McGowan to
may
pull
be
that in. In
gauged
fact, that
tomorrow
basket
night.
won't...
The Reigning Boomers take on the American Big East.
Formalities over with, the on-court hostilities were about to commence. The Big East All-Stars, despite never having played together as a team before, showed they had the offensive power around the perimeter to keep the scoreboard ticking. Under the basket, there were always 2 and 3 to help out, while for the Boomers, Ray Warner, Larry Sangstock and Paul Kuipers all came up with rebounds to keep the...
James Kernow is a much respected name in the wind band world. The casually dressed American lays claim to being a world-class director, composer, arranger and college lecturer. He's in Australia for 2 weeks to run clinics for the cream of Australia's bands. The visit to Newcastle today is his own engagement outside of Sydney and Melbourne. Broadmeadow High Band won the national band competition last year and is made up of Year 8 to Year 12 students. Today James Kernow coached the best from 60 young chargers.
There you go.
Come on, be there.
Go in!
Yes!
That's for 2. Larry Sangstock. 85-80, getting down to the wire now. A minute and 5 seconds in it. Charles Smith.
The foul board on the Big East trade at game's end. 3 fouled out and most others on the edge of an early shower. And that's got excitement guys.
A couple of those
the game was skillful short, but full of body contact as well.
Sangstock says my ball.
Geez, you got to get a call sooner or later on Andrew Gay. On a couple of occasions, the college's captain Charles Smith could have been dubbed with that normal American nickname Chuck, as he was interested in doing just that.
Oh yeah!
Foul's called on 4.
Oh yeah! Hold your father! Whoops!
Charles Smith. There's a lot of Aussies in here.
Put the physical side to one side, and it was a game that showed how basketball can be played. It's a game of urgency, of intensity, and superb skills. Oh yes! And we saw all of those things last night.
13 points.
Andrew Gaze, listen to the crowd now. This is born up.
Yes. Nice confident shot.
Yes, the general Phil Smythe was just that, and he broke about even with the superb skills of that man Smith.
Not a whole lot of players taking the ball away
how
from
big
Phil.
he is. Ray played with gusto and was probably the
Doesn't
difference.
go in.
Balls in though.
Yes. Maybe that's an omen.
Smythe.
Larry Sangstock, another basket experience campaigner, did well in the heavy stuff, as did new boy Paul Kuiper with limited chances. Next match is in Hobart, with Coach Adrian Hurley confident but knowing what to expect. As he said to me, these students come from the east, from around New York. They know what toughness is all about. It's their way of life.
Well, Smith's been looking for the floor half the night and found it.
We're talking
Good luck,
20
Australia.
seconds to go.
The brick exterior of the building masks the extent of the destruction. Flames ripped through the neighbourhood centre shortly after 6 this morning. For more than an hour, 16 men from Maitland and Talara brigades fought to save the complex to no avail. The Neighbourhood Information Centre has occupied the building for the past 18 months, offering a 5-day-a-week service. Children's playgroups were accommodated there. Now they are looking for emergency accommodation. The centre had operated in other premises over the past 7 years, and all records from that period were destroyed in the fire. One of the services offered was financial counselling. The coordinator, Jill Fennerty, says those records are irreplaceable.
A few hundred people use the centre each week, so a lot of people are going to be disadvantaged because of the centre's loss. And we've lost about 7 years of records and equipment and that we've managed to acquire over the years.
Maitland detectives are continuing their investigations into the fire. They say there are suspicious circumstances.
Hello, I'm Janelle Provost. The year-long battle to bring the deported Coe family back to Rathmines has finally come to an end. The family are expected to land back in Australia from Malaysia tomorrow.
For all the news,
join us tonight
at 6.
The raid was the result of 2 months of intensive investigations by Maitland detectives. They began their raids just after 6:30 a.m. at the homes of 18 members of the Gladiators Bikie gang. 17 police from Maitland and Newcastle made the raids, with the operation lasting 8 hours. Those arrested now face a total of 37 charges, ranging from possession of drugs to possession of a prohibited weapon. Police seized a total of $40,000 worth of marijuana and associated products, utensils for taking drugs, and 50 kilograms of gelignite, which has been moved for safekeeping. Also found was a sawn-off shotgun, detonators, fuses, and this Bren machine gun. No ammunition for the machine gun was found. All 12 arrested have been bailed to reappear in the Maitland local court on the 27th of July. More charges are expected to be laid when investigations continue this morning.
Hello, I'm Jane Button. Tonight I'll be reporting on a visit to the Hunter by Sport and Tourism Minister John Brown. Mr Brown said he doesn't expect any backlash from the so-called desk affair. He says quite the contrary. In fact, many people see it as a more human side to the political scene.
For all the news,
join us tonight
at 6.